positive, but it was off its highs, is that this Federal Reserve Board guy, the associate head of bank supervision, his name is John Greenlee, okay? I'm just going off the cluster stuff.
Right.
And he was sort of bearish in a congressional hearing down in Atlanta, Georgia, that he said bank conditions aren't all that good. Can you just give us a quick take on that?
Absolutely, sure. What he said was that banks are still in a lot of trouble, mostly because of commercial real estate, but also their corporate loan portfolios are deteriorating very rapidly, and this negative news really put a kink into the market today, and we really did see a midday drop-off from what was a pretty strong rally in the morning. It came back, but I think it made a lot of people think that maybe, despite the other good economic news, that there's still a lot of underlying weakness in our economy.
Yeah, you can see it. And Don Luskin, a good Financial Times editorial, and I am going to agree with Nouriel Roubini, who wrote this. He says we have the mother of all dollar carry trades. He says it's creating an asset bubble in risky assets. People are borrowing the dollar because it's zero interest rates, and they're going out to buy stocks and corporate bonds and other media. A lot of it is foreign. What do you make of that? Will the Federal Reserve defend the dollar and end the zero interest rate regime, Don Luskin?
Look, everything that Roubini is saying is true, and everything that he's saying is true is exactly what the Fed intends. Those aren't unintended consequences. That's the program. Go back to Ben Bernanke's speech in 2002 where he talked about helicopter drops of money. This is exactly what he said he'd do with the Fed funds rate at the zero bound. He said there would be a promise to keep it at zero for an extended period, that promise of the longevity of the low rate would allow investors to borrow with confidence short-term, lend with confidence long-term, and that would be maintained for an extended period. That is how the Fed stimulates the economy at the zero bound. It's textbook stuff. Ben Bernanke wrote it. Nouriel Roubini is not analyzing. He's simply reporting. Be glad it's working.
Well, be glad it's working, Maria.
Hey, Larry,
Yes, I was going to go to you.
Can I throw a question at you and your guests? And the question is America on the ascent?
I don't know if I can answer that, because I fear, personally, Maria, that America is not on the ascent, even though I love this country.
I agree with you.
And I believe in free market capitalism, but I'm not seeing free market capitalism. And Maria, on this point about the dollar carry trade, people are basically borrowing. It's a short of the dollar to use that zero interest rate, which is really a negative interest rate, to buy all these so-called risky assets. Now, it's driving our stock market. It's driving stock markets around the world. Maria, is this healthy or unhealthy? You've been around. You know this story. It troubles me.
Well, it is troubling, and I think that, there's really been no movement whatsoever to protect the dollar, and I just think that at this point we all should really know the facts, and that is that I don't necessarily think we are going to see any move. The reason is because there aren't many alternatives right now. I mean, at some point, sure, we could see a basket of currencies as the reserve basket, but over the near term, I guess there isn't an alternative, and so there really isn't the urgency there to really actively move and support the dollar.
What troubles me, Maria, is it's fishy and it's just unholy to me that the dollar carry trade, we used to talk about the yen carry trade, or, weak currencies are involved in carry trades where you can short them and use the cheap money to buy these other assets. This just doesn't sound like an American story, Maria, and I wish the Federal Reserve would step in and do something. Paul Volcker is the hardest money guy out there. I wish he had talked to you about that, frankly.
Well, I tried, Larry, you know that, but he just was not of the mindset today.
All right. Well, let me just say this. Volcker or not, it is a pleasure to have you back on the Kudlow Report. Thank you ever so much. John Carney, Don Luskin, thank you, gentlemen. We appreciate it.